It's been a long time since we've done one of these.
Yeah, it's actually been well over a year. So the last time we did this was in PA, and then the time before that was in New York. And each time we do one, we say we're gonna do it more often.
We do.
And we don't. But now, I think we will.
I don't know, or we could just do one in every city we live in forever.
I actually have the old audio. I wonder if it would be fun to listen to because it was pre-looped.
I'm kind of one of those people that doesn't like looking back at those things. You know, like, do you watch any videos after they're produced?
No. Well, if there's a fire micro clip that I like, I'll watch it over and over because it helps me understand what I liked about the delivery. Mm-hmm. But no, I'm not really going back in time and watching old footage.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Yeah. But it's powerful to know it's there.
Yeah, it's like family footage. Maybe when you have kids, it's like something you'll want to enjoy with your family to share the experience with them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Cool. So this is it. Welcome to the Co-CEO podcast.
Is that what we're calling?
I like it. Co-CEOs.
Co-Cs.
Co-CEO podcast. Or double vision.
Ooh, I like the double vision one.
That's better.
Yeah.
Double vision. Double trouble.
I like where your headspace is.
All right.
Felt better.
Give me some better prompts. Give me some prompts.
I heard that
nigga, don't play with it.
Maybe some prompts. Okay.
Play with the steno. Spin your around voice. That jump spin you around like a judge on a voice.
Trying to think of meaningful questions, and the ones that are coming to mind aren't all that meaningful. Like, one of the questions I hate is, how do you sleep? But I think your sleep is actually affected more than mine is by stress or by work. Do you agree?
I don't know how you sleep.
Do you think your sleep is more affected?
More affected by what?
Stress at work.
My sleep in general, I don't sleep super deep in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't dream really. And it's easy for my everyday life to permeate through into my sleep. Yep.
Wow. So do you make decisions while you're sleeping?
No.
You don't ever come to conclusions, it's just like repeating the same information?
Yeah.
Huh. That feels stressful.
It is.
Wow. So do you wake up feeling tired or overwhelmed?
Yes.
Wow.
I wake up feeling tired sometimes, but not overwhelmed. I actually wake up feeling excited because I think about all the things I'm in the midst of doing, and then I wake up feeling like, yes, that's right, I gotta go do this. It's almost like I never even took a break thinking about it because I was dreaming about it.
Wow. See, it's one of the funny things about being co-CEOs, you learn like weird fun facts about each other. And one of the things I've noticed, and I think you've noticed too, is you memorize shit. You like run the same number over and over and over in your head. I don't know how you do it, but you memorize people's names really well. You memorize numbers really well. I don't hold a single number in my brain, ever. Literally, yesterday, my best friend was like, isn't it crazy we're gonna be 35? And I was like, we're 33. And she's like, nah, we're 34, we're gonna be 35. And she had to like do the subtraction on the phone with me to convince me that in fact, the year I was born minus the year 2021 was 35. I literally didn't even memorize my own age. It's like a weird thing because you'd think it'd be backwards. Like someone who'd be good at remembering numbers would be the data person, and somebody who was shit at remembering numbers would never touch it. But it's like a weird inverted truth.
Yeah, I guess memorizing something is like fake knowing. Or is it actually knowing?
No, it's good storytelling.
I like memorizing numbers cold. Just because it's more about knowing which numbers to memorize. It's a ton of shit you can memorize. But what's the most important shit that you can have memorized and just know it cold And it's not even memorized, it's just know it cold. I think I was driven from early, and I still, there's so much room to grow. Like, I want to be way tighter, but I always wanted to know my shit cold.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like, when you're in the presence of someone who's just just razor,
Mm-hmm.
and they just, like, know their shit cold.
It's
all
impressive.
over, front, forwards, and back, side to side. They know everything about their industry. Makes me feel like I gotta set my game up. And when I feel at my best is when I'm reading more, and I haven't been reading. Really, I lost that practice years ago and never picked it back up. But when I'm reading, I don't necessarily like to read books that much, but I do like to read. Funnily, I like to read research reports. And the newspaper. Like, I actually like to read about the macro of what's going on, because we're already in the micro. We're already, like, on the ground floor picking up anecdotal observations.
Sure.
So I kind of like zooming out.
I find it interesting though, because you do read poetic philosophy as well.
Mm-hmm. All macro, I guess.
Yeah, but I would add philosophy or like philosophical thinking to your repertoire of books that you like to read.
Mm.
I don't memorize anything, and I have completely different tastes in books. It's kind of fun to discover these yin and yang moments that aren't like, he's a guy, I'm a girl, like pretty basic shit, but are actually kind of deep. We read totally different kinds of books. I read mostly nonfiction, autobiographical things.
So do I, though.
But I mean, I've read like 5 of them in the last like less than a year.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you have more volume, but for example, like my Steve Jobs book, like most of the things that I enjoyed.
Mine.
I think that one's mine.
No, I know that one. It's worn because I read it on the beach in the Dominican Republic the first time I went to the Dominican Republic. You bought it for me for Christmas.
Oh, I bought it for you. Right. In my view, that's mine. Yeah, I like reading. I don't read fiction. Like, you just read Harry Potter. I can't read fiction.
So I never read Harry Potter, but my whole team, all they do is talk about like what wand they have, and I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. So it's more like I wanted to understand and be a part of their cool kids club.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah. But I read mostly nonfiction. Like, I read Andrea Iguodala's, I read Kai Fuli's, I read
Oh, you read Kai Fuli's book?
Musk's. Yep. I read the guy Dave Iger's worst fucking biography ever.
Bob Iger.
Oh fuck, that guy's
Really?
not it for me. I read the one that you hate, Peter Thiel's book,
0 to 1. You like
0
that
to
one a
1,
lot.
which is an autobiography, but it is about himself, like completely.
It's Peter Thiel.
Yeah, I've never met the guy, but I mean, his philosophy is very on point.
You know
to
what
data
happened this
scientists.
week? We made the cover of a magazine.
Yeah,
We made the cover of a magazine this week.
this is my
Wow.
second cover.
This is my first cover.
That's crazy.
I've never been on a cover of a
My
magazine.
face was on the other one. I have to say, it felt a little flashier to have like the whole thing, but
Yeah,
this
you know,
is cool.
you know what's funny is, like, so I've been covered a fair amount in the press, and always they lead with photo, and this is like my biggest. It's a cover.
It's a big deal.
But it didn't feature our faces, and I actually felt way better about that. Because I also really like the concept art that they showed. Like, the plurality weighs more than the shark.
Yeah, but the blackfish is different than everybody else. It's sort of like the non-incumbents versus the incumbents.
No, these are the newcomers.
No, it's the other way around. That the balance is going to shift between the old way of doing things and the new way.
Oh,
But we're
see,
by ourselves being different.
wow, it's funny how you can interpret that totally
How did
different.
you?
These are the incumbents because they have them grayed out and they're bigger, fatter fish. And these are the plurality, right? And they put fairness on this side. So it's like how the power of many can overcome the power of few.
I would have interpreted fairness as like how we treat all the goldfish. We should treat every goldfish, even if they're not gold. A little different, but
We'll have to ask the editor. But
it works either way.
very cool. And I like that, it's like, I like making general press is one thing, making industry publication is another thing. I like that no one knows what fucking carrier management is, only if you're in insurance.
It's on
and
the,
for
in the
me, it's
lobby
like-
of every major insurance carrier. It's a big industry.
I feel like we were knighted into, well, you've already been knighted into this. I feel like I was knighted into insurance.
I'll come.
The guy that I spoke to today on the customer call, when I asked him why he was excited about Loop, he specifically said because he's just so impressed by you when he first met you,
Oh,
and that he knew when you announced that you were going to do an insurance company that you knew the back end.
yeah.
Like he trusted your knowledge of the industry, that you weren't just like a startup bro saying, yeah, we're going to do insurance and not have any clue what they're getting into. Yeah, he was really, that gave him the comfort. And then when he said, like, you paired it with the, with kind of business, it just made all the sense in the world to him, the whole.
Well, thank you for that unsolicited compliment. It does feel nice to hear, someone in the wild say that they appreciate what you do. That always feels really cool.
Yeah, he was a super fan, I would say.
Yeah, there are a few. There's a smaller number than like JH fan clan, but there's a few Nadeau's, big super fans out there. But I think the interesting thing about what you said is that, like, when you have businesses that come before your next business, right? Your first business to your second business, you learn a lot, but you also lose naivete. Like, you have a good sense of, like, somebody who's bullshitting you, or some, business propositions that people come and walk in the door and say, like, here's, the greatest thing since sliced bread. And you've been around the block enough to see those come and go, and why they fail and how they fail, and like the personalities that succeed, and how to meet and form relationships with people and speak their language, their vocabulary, all the fucking jargon in insurance. Like, I mean, there's no dictionary. It's just all acronyms and names for things that aren't even like fully or completely defined, or defined differently between different organizations. So there's just so much that you have to learn that isn't just like it was a good product or it was a bad product, but like you were ready yourself to be the best salesperson for the product. So it's definitely a
good
learning
thing
experience.
too about when you learned insurance, like you did it with like a zest. I just remember you picking up the phone every day and talking to 3, 4, 5, 6 people on a daily, just pounding down the phone. I remember me thinking out loud, even sometimes, like, you ever get off the phone? Just get off the phone. Hey, Jim, just want. It was just like you were pounding
There
the phone.
were days where I
that
spoke
for-
to like multiple Bobs too. I would have like a 4 Bob day because it was all old white men specifically.
Hey, you did it with such enthusiasm and energy, and you like just broke depth into the. Yeah, it's the reason why we have the buy-in, the industry buy-in. Otherwise,
I've been around for a
we
minute.
would then have just been starting it, and it would have taken that long to get the buy-in.
Totally, and it's an old boys club that there are back rooms and there are deals made in, closets that have wood paneled walls and a bunch of cigars and super comfortable chairs that like still legitimately.
I miss smoking
happens.
cigars. I haven't smoked a cigar in a long time.
Oh.
I also miss, not too much, but a little bit. I like kind of getting suited up. And
Makes you feel.
I feel
good
like it's
about
kind of like a myth, but our business done? Is business done like in these like rooms where everyone's suited up, and like I feel like it's kind of mostly for show these days, right?
I don't know.
I think that's like an idea of business. Oh, businessman.
Quick side note is the basketball game just came on back upstairs. I don't know if we want to shut that off, but in insurance, I've actually seen it happen. Like the biggest insurance conference is in Vegas, and there are parties or there are events or whatever. There are dinners, and then there are like small, very curated, very intentional dinners. I was invited to one with Accenture in West Palm Beach, where it was just like the heads of all of the different departments of underwriting and actuaries convened with their wives in a beautiful, seaside hotel that was all comped by Accenture to build their business in insurance. They have these little.
Yeah, I don't feel like business gets done there though. I mean, I guess it's facilitating connection. I'm trying to think, like, where does
Relationship
business
depth.
get done, quote unquote? Like, I feel like business gets done these days on Zoom. Like, that's just the fucking truth. Like, I'm just gonna be bold in dispelling my own reinforcement of that outdated preconception and notion that business happens in these back rooms. Like, business happens on fucking Zoom. Like, we fundraised millions of dollars, got our company funded all on Zoom, hired 20 people all on Zoom. We have closed a $30 million reinsurance capacity deal on Zoom, fronting carrier.
And what are the consequences of that in terms of like equity when you don't have to be invited? I mean, there's still an invitation to a room in Zoom. Is
Sure.
everybody getting
Sure.
access?
No, but more people have access, I feel like.
For sure.
And
I think so too.
there is also this like, yeah, I mean, I can't knock it, but like as a result of all this like emphasis placed on like diversity buzz, there's a lot of like, we're funding this, we're looking for that. But some good will come of it, I suppose. Some good will, because
You know where I think that's happening authentically is Clubhouse. People are super, super vulnerable on Clubhouse. And I think that vulnerability opens up opportunity for real connection between people. Like some people are still hustling their like design and editing services, which is cool, whatever. You're trying to get your business up, whatever.
Yeah, Clubhouse is a phenom. They got a unicorn valuation, and I think it was a year. They came out, they just popped, but they were like pivoting the app. If I recall the story correctly, they were just like pivoting the app concept, and then like they hit this one, and it just kind of blew.
Wow.
And they did the invite only thing, which is like a real. You know, I feel like we'll get better. That's what I want to do. Is like I want to get really good at product over time.
Yeah.
And you can move it. Yeah, you can just.
Okay, it just tilted a little.
Yeah,
I'm
but
good.
also you can move this arm like this.
Yeah, I just wasn't holding the table, so the table almost fell over, but we good.
I gotcha. Anyway, yeah, that's one thing I don't think either of us are good at right now, and that's product. And Sahi has learned to engineer product development, and now he's learning to orchestrate, third-party vendors into the direction of our product, and then now our collective next layer, right? Because you've learned to build the data guts that go into the product and the actual thinking. So that's product in one sense. Ali has learned the engineering and now coordinating of engineering partners, and I've learned how to market it. But collectively, we now have to learn when those expertise intertwine and come together in a product experience. And listening to customers when they have feature ideas and whatever, like I feel like that's what we'll spend the next many years really getting good at. And to me, you can always clearly tell when someone has a strong product sense because it shines through in their company DNA. I feel like a company is really the manifestation of its founder's DNA. So we're clearly good at
Two very specific
models
things.
and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But Shy Winnegar was good at product.
But I think we underestimate both of our intuition. Neither of us are A+ students, but we're solid B+ students. Both of us.
I think I'm an A-.
All right. I'd give myself a B+, unabashedly, only because I still have the chip on my shoulder that I haven't scaled something really big, right? But like coming up with product and figuring out how to sell it to somebody was like what I practiced and honed for years, right? Like,
Yeah, I agree
I might
with
not have
that.
gotten it right, but I've built the skill set to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think what I mean though is it's like, yeah, I can build something and sell it, but can we build something that people love to use? That to me is different.
For sure.
That love to use it. They love it. The whole experience. It's smooth, it glides, it's super easy, it delights you. It kind of brings a smile on your face just because the product is so good. And that's not, oh yeah, we have the right features. You know how many TikTok knockoffs there are?
Fair enough.
TikTok was banned in India, and I know a kid who's building a TikTok clone for India. He's like, yeah, because they were banned out there. And then I saw his app, and it looks cool, but it's literally a clone, but it doesn't even feel the same. It's so bizarre how like their love of like creativity shine through in the product. And so anyway, that's what I feel like we have to get good at. Like we're getting good at building the features and building the backend stuff, and then also making sure that the logic works and making sure that people market around it.
How do we get good at that? Is it like we download apps and like figure out?
No, we get good at it by doing it. We just haven't done it collectively as a team yet. So
I want to get Pokemon Go as an experiment for myself.
Yeah, you should.
I think it would be a really powerful thing to develop a video game experience for our customers to be able to earn rewards in reality through an experience similar to Pokemon Go, where you like hunt or search and use that to guide where you go, rather than saying like, hey, take a left here because it's safe and fast. It's like, take a left here because there's a pink Pokemon that you love over there and I would love for you to go get it. The behavior is the same, right? But the experience is met through a totally different interface. And then it's car insurance, but it's also a video game. Like, what the fuck?
I had one of our customers,
awesome.
Literally today, when, so we've been doing this thing where I'm proud of us for doing this. This is like one of the few first things that I'm actually proud of deeply in our marketing effort. There's been a number of them. But like anyone can run, that's not true. It's hard to run Facebook ads successfully. We're doing that successfully. Shout out JC.
JC is the man.
Easy.
He's so smart and he talks so fast. I love fast talking people.
He talks mad fast.
He talks mad fast.
But and I know how to get buzz going, but sometimes rolling up the sleeves and doing the work is where I feel most rooted in the work. And lately picking up the phone and talking to our people feels like one of the best uses of time. Like when I'm doing it, I don't feel like, wow, I should be doing anything else.
Yep, I pay attention the most.
I pay such deep attention. I'm right there. And anyway, when I asked one of these guys, Mario, what would you like to see your insurance company do? Open-ended question. He was like, man, I wish there was something out there that could, I don't know, reward people who don't drive like assholes on the road. He's like, man, I've been driving for a long time. I ain't never been in an accident. He was like, I never had an insurance company once just even like recognize that like, yo, you've been safe for mad long. And he was like, and I was like, oh, well, how would you like to see that done? He's like, I don't know. It'd be cool if you can kind of collect points.
Oh, like, dope. I just got a good idea.
He was like, yo, you can collect points and you can build them up and you can cash them in for stuff.
What if we made like a big concert or event and you got like different tiers of VIP status based on how long it's been since you had an accident? Would that be such a high reward that people would like?
You know, it's funny.
Commit fraud.
Speaking to another customer today, and I led with that idea, and he was like,
really?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. And I was like, cool.
Okay. Let that be that. This is the first thing I jumped to was like, let's make a VIP experience out of people's safety.
Yeah, because I shared that with Mario, the first one, and he loved it. But it got me thinking to your idea around points. It's like, yeah, we gamify it, you collect points, and then as you collect points, it unlocks rewards and stuff.
Yeah, it's a video game.
Yeah.
And there's levels. And there's different like.
Well, but I want you to unlock
surprises.
like experiences, like you were saying. Like,
yeah.
You just unlocked like 2 tickets to go see J. Cole.
Yeah.
And like, cause I
the rewards are hardly the difficult part. It's the video game. Like, how are you gonna get people to play?
Right. No, I know that, but I'm saying, I thought about giving it back in the form of cash, but cash you'll just spend. So you can gamify how you earn the points, but you can also gamify how you dish out the reward.
It also feels like mad cheap. It feels like a bingo game on an app to like give back cash.
Yeah, it feels whack. But if you unlock an experience,
well,
you'll always remember that Cole concert because Luke, got your tickets.
Let me take that back though. DraftKings was a pretty good app for people that like dealt in cash. It appified a cash transaction that people were comfortable with making it about the cash. So I just wanted to correct the record. I think DraftKings did that well.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the kind of e-gaming scene, but
no,
that
definitely is sports betting.
Yeah, to me it's the same shit. Like e-gaming, sports betting, they're kind of like blurring. There's definitely in the zeitgeist right now a blending of like sports culture, e-gaming, NFTs, like hip hop is blending in. There's like a convergence of all different types of fields.
I mean, I think in many ways, Black culture has figured out how to monetize culture. And like, good on you. Because how long have you been exploited for or otherwise not monetized for what you bring to society? Just like your craft in music, your craft in sports. I mean, it's generalizing, but those folks have been paid the highest amount of money in cash, so they've made big moves.
Yeah. I think that's true. I think in general, Black athletes, musicians, and business people are just higher paid now.
Right.
And that's because there's people out there breaking ceilings, you know? Hove becoming a hip hop billionaire paved the way. But there are so few of us, so few Black billionaires. There are so few of us that when there is one, everyone celebrates it. But like white billionaires, like there could be a new one and it doesn't make a damn headline.
Sure, because there's not been a lot of time for Black wealth to grow, and you haven't been monetized. Like, you haven't actually earned what value you bring.
You know, I used to want to be a billionaire. Now I feel like I know I'll be a billionaire, but that's not what I want to build for. I used to be like, yo,
Cool.
I'm going to be a billionaire. But that just feels like you're chasing the wrong thing. Like you're just like, yo, I want to accumulate money. Okay. I want to build some shit that 1 billion people will use. Imagine that.
Yeah, I want the experience. Like, I don't need to own the yacht to be enjoying and being on a yacht.
All right. So by the way, so you rag on Zuckerberg a lot.
Yeah.
Right? But like,
well, no, I don't like go out of my way to rag on Zuckerberg.
No,
I don't
no,
go out of my way to speak kindly.
Sometimes you say, dude, I could fucking do without Zuckerberg. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like he built something that 2 billion people use
For sure.
every day.
For sure.
That's like that's like 20% of the world's 30% of the world's population.
Sure.
That's insane.
His contribution to our modern society is undeniable. That is not what is questioned. What is at question is the fundamental ethical and philosophical backbone that is completely missing from the way that they make decisions. That terrifies me about the future of humanity and our knowledge of what private corporations can do to control people and to consolidate wealth. And that is scary to me, that he lacks a backbone when it comes to questions of free speech, when it comes to even how he founded the business, was like rating hot or not, was rating women. That's how he grew virality, was he said, like, is this woman hot? And a bunch of people voted. And like totally destroyed the self-esteem of some women who then were publicly shamed by thousands of people because they weren't considered hot according to Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. So like, I could do without Mark Zuckerberg. I'm glad that he has significance in society and that's a contribution that you think is profound and big, but I don't admire him.
Yeah, but yeah, you stay in touch with all your friends through Facebook and you're on Instagram every single day. And when you're international, you text me on WhatsApp. So easy to say, yeah, I could do without him, but you actually can't.
Right. Well, that's another question about whether there's a monopoly
You
on
actually
this type
can't,
of
'cause-
transaction.
all right,
which
so-
I would also
so I'll
agree
tell you
with.
what.
They need to be broken up.
Tell you what, if you could do without him, delete Instagram from your phone
If I
right
had an
now.
option.
Delete Facebook and
I'm not going to delete. I don't even know how to delete.
delete it. And let's not use Facebook ads for Loop, by the way, either. Because you're not complaining when we get a lead for $3.68 in Texas.
No, but if there was an ethical marketplace for me to compete and reach similar audiences with the same functionalities, you sure as better believe that I'd be on that platform.
Yeah, but
Which
guess
is-
what? It don't exist.
Right, which is further support for the regulation necessary, the antitrust law necessary to break up big tech companies like Facebook, transacting in advertising. And so modern law has not caught up, allowed monopolies to emerge, and really, unfortunately, required people, if they do want to use the internet to consolidate on platforms like Google for quality experiences. But that doesn't mean that the like underpinning of that is also wrong. We should have stronger antitrust law in this country.
So you read a book on antitrust and now you're
I'm
telling me
big
about
into
antitrust
it.
law.
But it's important, and it's becoming important on both sides of the aisle. Both Donald Trump talked about it, and Amy Klobuchar wrote a book about it recently. I mean, it's
Oh gosh.
I know.
Amy Klobuchar I can do without.
Oh my god.
Amy Klobuchar I can do without. Mark
She
Zuckerberg.
did an audiobook, and I was like, I would rather have cats like screech in my ear for a solid 45 minutes.
I think Donald Trump will go down in the books for many things that I think he was ahead of his time on.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the Space Force. That was him.
Space Force.
He commissioned a Space Force during his time in office. Thank you. That was been bugging me this whole time. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I will give him that.
So that there's that. What was the other thing?
My dad
so when he brought
really
up,
excited about the UFOs.
When he brought up the antitrust thing, that I thought was also interesting because you have the dichotomy of being pro big business, but then also antitrust.
Well, I mean, he's a hypocrite, so I'm not going to use Donald Trump to like hold him up as
yeah. He was mad at tech because they were coming down on him, but
right, like who knows? But his point is well taken, which is that that media has consolidated. You talk about this all the time that like CNN doesn't report the news you want to see. They're not reporting on Palestine, for example, from the Palestinian perspective. So he's making the same point. He's like, we've consolidated media too much. And there isn't space for different voices.
So
now,
would you see that as antitrust?
Yeah, and that's why he's arguing for antitrust law in the media space to break up like the Sinclair medias that deliver all the local news so that everywhere in the United States you get the same exact really narrow and coincidentally Christian perspective on the news. So
I'll tell you, but this is now funny though because you want to break up the media perspective, right? Am I right?
You also, I believe, have shared your interest in breaking up CNN and having more options.
Can you just follow the logic?
Sure.
So you want to break up media, right? Big media?
I'm more ardent on big tech, but sure. For the example's sake, so that you will continue.
Big media. All right, great. You think that there's too few channels control too much of the distribution, am I right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So you know how to do that? By democratizing media, which is social media. Am I right?
Sure, through a set of very narrow platforms.
Through
Am I right?
Mark Zuckerberg.
So
Facebook. But it effectively got concentrated all over again.
Precisely.
Except the difference is that every individual who's on Facebook shares their own shit. It's not, Facebook doesn't feed me shit. Well, kind of. Everyone posts shit on there, and then they choose what to show you.
Right. So
but
they
you kind of also
your free will.
No, they don't, because you opt in for the shit. Mandy doesn't have to follow me on there if he doesn't want.
No, yeah, of course we all opt in for it, but there are fundamental benefits of the software, which is that we're more connected and related to one another, which was the original, bullshit inspiration for Facebook that Mark Zuckerberg touted in order to raise a lot of capital around a really fantastical idea. But in reality, he was creating the largest behemoth and consolidated ad platform that allowed for political unrest, not just in the United States, but abroad as well, in foreign countries where there was all-out war. I mean, he's done really awful things.
No, he hasn't. His product has been used for awful things. But, I feel like, I don't know. I don't get the hate because if I build something that ends up being so powerful that it can be misused unintentionally and have global consequences, that to me is one of the greatest things you can do.
But that is
then
also
you build something that's so, it's way bigger than anyone.
This is the question of the atomic bomb.
The shit runs on its own. Mark Zuckerberg don't have to go into the office. If we don't go into the office at Loop, it'll run a little bit, but not really. Especially if we're gone for a week, it's done. People just use Facebook. It just works.
But I think you need to address the underlying philosophical question that you yourself raised there, which is, if you were offered the opportunity to be building the atomic bomb, would you do it?
No.
Okay, so if you knew that what you were building at scale could destroy society, you would choose not to set out on that path.
Yeah.
And so,
But no, that's not quite a fair question line. Would you build a bomb? No.
Well,
what if the
Zuckerberg knowingly built a bomb?
No, he did not. I
It's
think a more
naive to believe
accurate
that
way to
this
frame it
wasn't
is,
part of the
hey,
plan.
if you had the chance to build something that could phenomenally increase the quality of life for billions of people, but could have some adverse effects, would you do it? Yeah.
Some,
would.
but there's a line there.
I
Now you
would.
added some
You didn't
adverse
frame. You didn't
effects.
frame it like that.
I'm
You just
saying,
said, "Hey,
like,
would you build a bomb and kill
no,
people?"
No. I'm asking you if you did something that could have catastrophic negative consequences on society. Would you do it to begin with?
Yes.
And if you were 10 years in and those catastrophic consequences emerged, how would you respond? Because arguably, if I want to, for example's sake, agree that this wasn't all part of Mark Zuckerberg's master plan to take over the universe and like recolonate it for lizard people, which is a funny joke going around, that even if I were to accept that that wasn't his plan to begin with, he knows it now. And what he does from now in demonstrates his character. So if you learn 10 years in that what you were building destroyed the environment or destroyed people's free will and ability to move freely through space, would you shut it down?
No.
Why not? I would.
I wouldn't.
Well, this is going to be a fun, like, year 10 thing to look back on, because I think that's a fundamental debate. If you figured out that it went catastrophically wrong, I don't think it's ever too late to turn around and take one step forward.
I wouldn't shut it down because I think Mark Zuckerberg would look at you and say, "Carey, you're smart. Let me explain to you all the shit that's actually, like, I think when you grow something large from the outside, it's easy to be like, yeah, all you got to do is this." Nah, there's complexity, there's nuance, there's stakeholders, there's architecture, there's all kinds of shit, man, that, not saying you can't change it, but I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I think things are more complicated than meets the eye. I think the same thing about the presidency,
Sure.
for example.
Or the insurance
Presidents
industry.
are, people are just like, why doesn't the president do this or that? It's like, it's just more complicated, man. We're only getting a tiny bit of the intelligence that the president gets on the daily. To me, that's amazing. Sometimes I think about that and I find myself in awe of that. There is classified intelligence that only the president knows. And it's like you're getting the top creme de la creme intelligence on a global level from multi-billion-dollar agencies that invest in the most sophisticated technology to get the best information. Everything from spying on enemies to global developments to everything. And it gets shared with one person across several agencies. So you add all day, you're just having to make decisions. And yeah, sometimes people might be mad at you because, you didn't make a decision in this thing, but it's like, man, so many things and you can't even communicate a portion of them. So you stick to the best script that you have and you say, yeah, we're gonna get that's a good point, Jim, we're gonna get around to that. But you're weighing all these other things that you have. I mean, I feel like you can relate as a CEO, right?
I think publicly traded companies have a very different responsibility than elected officials who are put in place to make judgment calls and represent our choices. And every 4 years we have the opportunity to decide who that person's going to be.
What's the different notion than publicly traded companies? You're operating for the public.
No, you're acting in the best interest of shareholders, which is a very different choice.
Yeah, but when you go public, there's a public offering, and the common person, your shareholders become the public.
Right, I guess, and if they divest from your company, that's one way that they can demonstrate their lack of support for your business if you're a shareholder and you have the ability to trade at scale.
But the problem is, much like in media concentration, we talked about on TV channels and then how it reconcentrated on social media,
Mm-hmm.
and how if you're public, you should do what's in the best interest of your shareholders, which is the public. But the problem that even in the public markets, capital is aggregated, concentrated,
Exactly.
and then you have these ginormous hedge funds that buy really big blocks of equity in any given company.
Right. Which is why Reddit is fascinating.
Which is why Robinhood is fascinating, because Robinhood just opened that up and democratized access to the markets.
For sure, but I mean, it's a question of where the line between like betting and investing is. A lot of things we think about as investing are actually bets with probabilities of increasing value.
Yeah, people took a bath with Bitcoin this week.
People took a bath with buying a house in like 2007. I mean, it doesn't have to be as crazy as Bitcoin. It could be like stable assets that just fucking change.
Yeah, but as of this week, crypto is down 300%. Did you know that?
I did, but I saw I'm
a
a
massive
blip.
fucking sell-off.
Yeah, but it's a blip. Like you're looking at the trajectory and being like, it went down a little over the last. I mean, it went down like 300%, albeit, but the like long-term trajectory is still going up.
Yeah, I didn't say it wasn't, but that's the point around betting and gambling. People are literally just buying into an asset or stock for that matter without really understanding it. And I'm not speaking from a place of like, I know, because I don't really know how to evaluate the public market super well. It's a skill that you have to hone.
Yeah. I guess, but to get back to our original point about like the responsibility of a CEO of a publicly traded company to act with like morality and ethicism, I think it's also a challenge in the insurance industry where they've been doing it one way for a very long time and shareholder set expectations are set at a certain amount of profitability. And so they get kind of stuck into the way of doing things because of the guardrails of expectations around wildly changing the way that they do business. And I think it's really particularly problematic in insurance because it's so highly regulated that it's not just as easy as like, oh, we're going to run a beta test with some customers, see if, you know, our theory pans out. And then you still have to go to regulators to get that shit approved. So it's just, I see Loop as a great opportunity to shake up the status quo, which can't happen necessarily from the top down in the space because they're just so locked into the way that they currently do things.
Yeah, you got to build new, pretty much. I think there will come a time when Loop will be seen as archaic.
Sure.
Sometimes it's funny how fast it happens sometimes. Like PayPal. When PayPal came out, it was like all the modern rage of like, wow, it's amazing. They made payments are online. Like it was amazing.
Yeah. And
then eBay acquired them and it kind of just went stale. Now PayPal feels kind of old.
And eBay feels old.
eBay is definitely old. You know, it's the 90s era. But Amazon has amazingly continued to feel fresh, even though they're from the same era as eBay.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, there's a question of like how useful is an auction site, but I think what makes Amazon maybe different, in addition to maybe a bigger market opportunity, is that they got in people's homes. They started collecting information like at scale and using it to inform product development.
Yeah, well, I mean, the difference was the entrepreneur, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeff Bezos.
eBay.
Piero Media.
Oh, the Omidyar Network. They do a lot of philanthropic things.
You know what's funny? I read in the Everything Store, the Amazon book, that when eBay first came out, like they were so sexy on the block. And it was like, wow, like it's an inventory light model. Like you don't have a fucking warehouse. It's just crowdsourced. People just sell their shit. And like they took their cake for years, eBay. And Amazon through a long while, like just went through an identity crisis. Like, fuck, did we pick the wrong model? And everything, man. And then September 11th happened, you know, in 2001. And the .com burst and everything like that. And all Amazon did was just weather the storm, which is honestly...
But when did they pick up? Because they're so big now. I mean, coronavirus definitely gave them a nice bump, but when did they become ubiquitous?
Well, it started with them surviving the dot-com crash. Like, you know, we're going to have to go through a hard time at some point. And I feel really conscious of that because right now we're in this, we just raise seed money. So you get a job, you get a job. Let's do this, let's do that. And it's like real easy because we just have been flush with cash. And, you know, we're living in a propped up environment right now. We don't have revenue. We don't have customers. We don't have product, you know, and we don't have profits. We have subsidized cash from VCs whom are in a very inflated market and have pressure to deploy capital into deals that are founded by founders that they feel like have a semblance of being able to be successful in venture. But they gotta do a deal a month. Deal. You gotta bang out deals. And just at any given time, it's deal. Sometimes you do 3 deals in a month, to be honest. And so we were fortunate enough to be in that cadence of like, cool, yeah, they look fucking good, you know? And it wasn't, of course, that haphazard, but like in the grand scheme of things, to get a few $1 million in like a short period of time.
The dice, yeah.
And yeah, we're in a propped up environment. And anyway, point is, I don't think the hard time that we're gonna have to face will be nowish, knock on wood. I foresee us, you know, all things considered, being able to reasonably get to market. We're in a really good place right now where I feel substantially de-risked about like our get to market situation. I feel like we have enough momentum to acquire our first bit of users, to start sell policy 1, get that premium in, start seeing how the telematics data flows through the dashboard. And we're gonna have to tweak a little bit, like refine all the battle ready systems when they start getting into battle. Okay, cool. I feel like we'll go on to raise another round of capital that makes a big splash. We'll continue to grow. I think we'll be active in a number of different markets. And then go on, like in my head, it's funny because like, I just feel like, yeah, I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to raise $20 million. We're going to go in the markets. We're going to be in 20 states and then we're going to raise $100 million. And the whole time I'm like, I just don't see what can stop us from being a $1 billion company.
That's why I sleep well at night. You know, I actually feel like the hardest part from the other perspective is getting that first customer. I mean, that's a hard part that a lot of people don't get out of, right? They don't ever get to a place where they have a wait list of 20,000 people.
But think about like ClearCover, right? So ClearCover, I'm sure, has gone through a hard spell. They recently became a unicorn. So congrats to Kyle. But like you probably go through these lull periods, I feel like. You know, where it's not like hard was like getting to market or like sometimes you just like you grow, you kind of get off the ground and you have that thing or whatever. But from that initial spike to like unicorn, there ends up being these like long, unsure phases of like it's just not working how you thought, or you're not growing at the rate that you thought, or like the unit economics aren't as tight as you need them to be, or the capital markets pull back and just macro sentiment on your sector cools off. That happened like to like digital media companies.
Sure.
They were super hot and then fucking media cooled off and no media company could get funding for like the last 5 years pretty much.
Sure.
So anyway, I'm saying any number of things can happen. And in those times, it comes down to how good are we actually as like operators, you know? And that's why the whole reason I brought it up is because one thing Amazon doesn't get credit for is like they survived the dot-com crash. Everything went fucking dry. 9/11 happened and there wasn't no capital out there. It was just like, you got to make your business work. You have to make more revenue and profits than expenses. And still grow, and still innovate, you know? And sometimes I think about that for a loop, like, wow, what's gonna be our super hard stretch down the road?
Do you ever put a finger on some possibilities? Because I have a couple that like I think about in my head.
Okay, what are they?
I think that there's a risk of the reinsurance markets contracting, right? Like reinsurance is the insurance for insurance. They cover claims if things go wrong. And through no fault of our own, if in the next like year and a half there's a catastrophic storm that floods all of Texas, and we're just here in the state of Texas, reinsurance capacity could dry up because your performance is really bad. Your profitability is in the shitter. You know, something that is totally outside of our control in the financial markets can really inhibit our ability to grow as fast as we believe we should be growing. And that's why, I mean, sometimes lulls happen not because you're not doing a good job or because you're slowing down in your drive or your commitment to your customers, but because of the market.
Yeah, no, that's a great example of like a macro condition. I'm rather optimistic on that front, short of like some natural disaster happening, because we're in the middle of a pullback right now.
Sure.
And we still secured capacity in the midst of a hard market. So like that makes me confident going into, typically after those hard markets, like the market softens and capacity opens up, and it's like if we were able to get off the ground during a hard market, we should be able to secure.
That was our reinsurer's point as well. It was like, if you can get these terms right now under these conditions, you're good as long as you come out the gate reasonable.
But it's funny because the reinsurance and the venture markets are in opposites right now. So like VC is not a hard market by any stretch. It's like booming. Reinsurance is hard. We got both here. Now I want to see what happens when it's like this and VC softens or hardens and reinsurance. But the reality is that the best companies always get funded no matter what, pretty much. You know, like if you're not as good, then you can maybe get money when the market is high. Mm-hmm. If you're not good, you're definitely not getting any money when the market is tough. That's why at some point in 2019, because I remember the market feeling like they had just been going up and up, I was like, yo, I might be a fake entrepreneur. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I want to do well when some shit happens in the world, and I feel like I can navigate on skill. And then the pandemic happened. And I remember there was a time when me and Axel and Seuss were in Tulum, at the turn of the year, and we were like, fuck, we navigated during a pandemic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that made me feel like it raised your confidence. Like, okay, cool. Like we've built enough skills to be able to survive in a drought. Right?
Sure.
And so anyway, yeah, I think we'll be able to raise capital.
Yeah, one thing, for sure, I have no doubt in the strength of our ability to raise capital, but I do think some nuance to what you said around like only the best companies get cash, because I think that's more true, hopefully, in seed to A and A to B and B to C, where like investors have already put a bunch of money into a company and they're looking to prop up businesses that maybe have subpar performance when the markets are pretty wide open and there's a lot of money flowing. I think a lot of companies continue to get funding to give them more time and more runway to execute on their vision and see if it'll pan out. But going from nothing to start a creative business, or, that's where I think there's not everybody who deserves a shot or deserves the money that they need to achieve their dreams necessarily gets in the door or in the right doors, even if that door is just like your local bank to get a loan.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't speak from that perspective because I'm like in a venture mindset, and venture is not built for that kind of business. Right. And venture is not built for that kind of founder either.
No, but I'm saying even for founders that are raising $1 million or more, that the seed door is perhaps the hardest door to get through in the process. Do you agree?
I don't know. I haven't raised Series A, Series B, Series C. I don't have this preconceived notion that it's going to get easier. I'm like ready for bad. I'm ready for, I feel like LeBron James after he's like, yeah, they're going to be a tough team. There's a reason they're number 2 in the league. They're going to battle. We just got to continue to be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
So I just feel the same way.
Ron, how do you feel?
I just feel like we got. So you got your series seed. How you feel about the A? Going into the A. Yeah, you know, we walked away with the win here, but we just got to continue to be aggressive. You know, I got to find Carey in the lane and do a couple bounce passes. You know, she got to find me out in the open three. But we just gonna continue to be aggressive and continue to do our thing.
We need to execute the plan. Listen to the coach.
That's exactly how I feel about the A and the B and the C. But yeah, cool. Yeah, we got it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But look at Song, right? Like Song raised the fucking $8 million Series A, Series B, Series C back to back to back. Insane.
I just don't worry about that. I feel like once you're in the castle, the run up to the throne is on you, and that like money will be there to support that effort if you're making progress. You know what I mean?
Do you ever feel like you're a phony?
No, but I do feel like I have more to learn.
Okay. Sometimes I feel like a phony where it's like, man, you know, it's like in hip hop. Like in hip hop, you come out saying, yo, I'm the best. But you don't really believe it, but you kind of do. You believe it. You believe like, yo, I'm the best. But you know that there's cats out there that are better. But I feel like you say it long enough, you believe it, and then you become it maybe if you also work hard enough.
Well, think about it. You put in 10, 15 years of what you're doing. The difference maybe between you and I is that I started saying, I know nothing, teach me. And I went and got formal education and put myself into a position of humility to try to learn some things. And then like got jobs under other people who were experts in my field so that they could teach me the craft, like an apprenticeship, really. So then you get to a place where you're like, no, I know I can do it, but it doesn't mean that you have to go that path. You don't have to start with humility. You can start with bombastic, like I'm the greatest, right? And just keep, as long as you're continuing to learn the lessons and be allowed to be taught, then you get there.
I wouldn't put humility at odds with I'm the greatest, even though that sounds funny. It's like, yeah, I'm the nicest to do it, but at the same time, I have the humility. I can kiss the ground and just learn and be a sponge. But like, I'm still the nicest.
Yeah, I do think those are at odds.
I don't think they're at odds. I think they coexist.
I mean, that's like walking into a classroom and being like, I'm smarter than the teacher. I know
that
it.
chopper is spinning around like a judge on a voice. Cole is the nicest. I don't give a fuck. Cole also has the coolest look. This little thing that Drake has going on with the fucking heart here, like next to Cole, who's got the lights coming out and like an all black hoodie, like.
You gotta feel dumb showing up at the party, you know?
You're the guy with the fucking heart on his head. And meanwhile, Cole's the truth.
I think rap has such amazing creativity right now. And I talk about right now as a renaissance. And then rap has really been contributing in an amazing way. Like, you can't listen to country music or pop music right now and be like, wow, this is art.
Yo.
You can listen to rap and see the art in it.
This has been a good riff. We are 58 minutes and 50 seconds in. I wonder if anyone will watch all the way through. We're going to put this on YouTube.
An Easter egg?
Yeah, we'll put in an Easter egg. All right, bet. So if you saw this, if you're here at 59 minutes and 7 seconds in.
What can we do?
Tell me.
Oh, we need to name the bull.
Okay. So I'm holding a gold bull.
Weighs about 30 pounds. It can be used alternatively as a door stopper.
So I'm holding a gold bull right now that one of our team members gave us. A really awesome Shingo. So if you're watching, type in gold bull in the comments. There's no way you're gonna randomly type gold bull. So we'll definitely know.
Goldbullwithasombrero.com. Mendy got us a sombrero. Because our staff so sweetly buys us gifts every time they take trips. And that sombrero is legit. It's an authentic Mexican sombrero.
They don't play with his
I do have a problem with the golden bull, I will say. One, I think it's one of the nicest gifts anyone has ever bought me. And I'm very grateful for the thoughtfulness that went into buying it. But then I think about false idols. You're not supposed to have a golden calf.
False prophets. Somebody should have told me to be like this, be like this, be like this. Somebody should have told me it'd be like this. Be like this. False prophets.
Yeah.
Therefore, from here on out, my hair grow about. I care nothing about opinions. I want to give you hope like the fountains you throw pennies in.
I don't want to cut this short, but
Well, we're done, largely.
I'm worried that the cat is in the abandoned house.
Okay, yeah. So it's time to go get our cat. But this has been fun, and I think we should do more of these.